Perfect. Hey, Kelsey Caesar, how's it going today?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm excited to talk to you because you have a very interesting career to acting from which you were originally supposed to be doing in life. And I don't know if a
Yeah.
lot know that, like especially the training that took place to where you were supposed to be going. So
Yeah.
let's just get right into it. You were training to be in the track and field for the Olympics, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes,
tell
I
me about that process and then what made you switch gears?
pivot. So first and foremost, I've been an athlete like all my life from baseball to football, and then track and field is what I actually focus on. I always did like the creative arts, so it wasn't something that like when I did pivot um from Olympic sports to acting that it was something that I just completely didn't know. I was also doing TV and film when I was in high school as well. But when I actually had to go to college, I had to pretty much forfeit acting and really focus on my track and field for obviously for being a scholarship athlete, and then I did have dreams and goals to run professionally and run in the Olympic level as well. And I mean, it was a pretty brutal process for me because I mean, I still it's so crazy because I've done track and field for so long that like my it's kind of ingrained of like my scheduling, and like the workout process is just ingrained into everything that I do. I'm pretty like organized or structured, I would say, to a lot of things that I do. And I even take that same kind of disciplinary structure that I had in track and field to how I go about my acting roles. Many of my friends that are athletes will tell you that it's pretty intense of having a schedule and maintaining that schedule and regimen that you're on, of waking up early and getting your body right, organized, together, eating healthy, running is a thing that even though I retired in 2016, I still run. It's very therapeutic for me to run, and it also helps my creative process as well.
Yeah, nice. So what made you retire from it in 2016?
So in 2016, I booked a movie called Slamma Jamma, and it's a basketball film. And that the shoot for that movie was about a 2 month shoot. So like it was so unfortunate because when I booked the movie, it was right during like the go time of track and field, like track and field season. So I had trained all fall. And I booked the movie like in February. So it took me out of like the spring training, which, you know, for USA Olympic trials, that's what we're all getting ready for. It's first and foremost for anybody to understand track. Like USA Olympic trials is probably one of the hardest things to like compete in. It's like harder than the Olympics because um United States have really talented athletes. We have like the most talented athletes on in this planet, especially in track and field. So I was gearing up for that, and as I was training, I ended up booking the movie because I still was like pursuing acting, but
Mhm.
not like full time. And I booked a film Slamma Jamma that took me out for 2 months. So then when I came back into training, you have to be at a certain level. So we got to like, I think it was what, like late April, early May, and the Olympic trials for the United States was in June. There just was no way for me to get back into shape at that level to be able to compete against the best in the world. So I had decided to pivot and retire.
Nice. That's a testament because you actually were honest with yourself. Sometimes we're not honest with ourselves as people in life, right? Relationships,
Yeah.
careers. We're just like, we have this mentality, don't give up. But it's like, you're like, look, it's not about giving up. It's just that this time has passed and this new opportunity. What was it? What was it that Kelsey said to himself that let you know, I'm retiring? I know this
Mm.
is the right path.
Um, I evaluated what I evaluated what I want out of life in the long run, and what did being in sports really mean to me, and what was like my passion. And I've always been passionate in like entertainment. I love entertainment. Like sports was my form, since I wasn't a kid that was able to do a lot of like theater and stuff like that, because I was always in sports. So it was one of those things that I thought about, that I knew like with track and field at some point I was going to have to pivot. And maybe the next 5 or 6 years, that I was like, it was I thought about that, and I was like, you know what, I actually will pivot into something that I haven't really been able to give my like life to like full time, versus I have for track, or just sports in general. And I loved entertainment, and I'm like, this is still a way for me to entertain people. I'm just doing it in a different form. And even for track, I looked at like track as a center stage. And I mean, when you're running, you're the only person running. So I mean, there are relays as well, but people count on you. And for me, I was like, oh, this is my time to perform. This is my time to get the people what they want. And I got to execute it. And so with that, taking that mindset, I was like, you know what, I can do this in acting. And that's what I enjoy doing. And when I did the movie, and the movie came out, and I saw myself in theaters for the first time, that was when I felt like, for me, I was like, this is what I really want to do. And I would love to be at the Olympics and be with my friends, but at the same time, this this actually gave me a different kind of fulfillment.
Nice. And I love that. Now, let's say if we had a time machine for you, right? And you can go
Mm-hmm.
back and switch one thing, because track and field gave you, being an athlete gave you such a regimen, and it gave you discipline. If you could go back, would you do everything the exact same, or would you wish that you either went fully into acting earlier on, like, plays, being that kid, the theater kid, or do you wish that you could have well, you couldn't have provided yourself a balance because athletes in high school, college, and there's no balance. That's
No.
life. So what would Kelsey do?
Um, I think for me personally, I, I'm a very big believer of faith, and I believe the plan that God has set for me, that I am on today, is the plan that He's always had for me. So honestly, I wouldn't really change anything.
Nice. I love that. So now you're in this new space, right? Now you're in this space where there's recognition, projects are underway. Has there been any time during this journey that you questioned your decision? Because it's such a, how would I say, it's like you never know when your next gig's going to come, so you never know when your next paycheck's going to come. So has there been any time since between 2016 and now, that, even though it's only 4 years, so that's a good thing. You've been
Yeah.
killing it for, like, since you took this chance. But has there been a moment where you're just like, Kelsey, am I doing this? Is Kelsey really doing this?
Um, yeah, that's been a couple of times. I mean, even since those years, like there's been two Olympics came by, and I mean that has went by. And so what has it been, to 16? Yeah, two Olympics that went by. And I mean, I can honestly say, looking at my friends and seeing like how they are just have been killing it, that's one thing that I'm like, the thing with track and field, you grow up with some of these athletes forever, because I mean, we've all done it since we were in youth sports. So it's a part of me, I do kind of miss that competitiveness and like that camaraderie. And I don't know, it's one thing to be an actor, because I get it, like it's an industry that is like a 1 in a million chance of success, but also being an Olympic athlete for your country is literally, I would say, is almost the same, but it feels so close when you've been doing it for so long. And seeing my friends compete, and do their thing and actually win their medals is one thing that I'm like, dang, like, like I just told you I was like, watching myself on in the movies and seeing myself on screen is one thing, but like it's that one thing that I wonder, like, will I have the same feeling if I did uh win a medal or compete at the Olympics? So like that's the only thing I can think of
Yeah.
that I kind of like question.
No, and I think and it's hard too because it's like if we are both in tennis, track and field, swimming, anything, even if it with ping pong, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
me and you, the best wins. It's that there's nothing more, nothing less. If I make a mistake, then I still lost, but the best wins. So if you're on that track, you are winning because of your speed, your endurance. Acting is
Mm-hmm.
different because you may get the role because you have a little bit of maybe the look they're looking for, maybe you
Mm-hmm.
favor somebody in the book when they do a remake. You know what I mean? But so I think
Yeah.
it's a different type of thing. Even though you're killing it in both, it's just like track and field. It's just like oh, that was Kelsey. That was Kelsey. That was
Yeah.
there's I feel like there's a little bit. That's why as athletes you guys are so competitive because it really is just you. From acting, it could be yeah you could be a great actor, you could be not a good actor, but the casting director may say hey you know what I want to take a chance on this person so I think
Yeah,
there's some of
exactly.
that. It's like yeah, so I definitely would get that from you, or for anyone in that position. So when you're going on the auditioning process, right? Tell me about that. How
Mm-hmm.
do you feel? Because again, it's like, when you look at the parallels, there's audition run, beat that next person. You
Yeah.
gotta just go in there and be like, hope I do the best I do.
Yes. I would say, I mean, you're absolutely right, exactly what you said. Like it is for track and field or just anything with sports, even though like I mean like different sports is kind of cohesive, but at the same time like you gotta put in your work to really like make it happen. And it's the same thing with acting, but there is different elements to it, like you said, that is can definitely be excusable versus like for track there is no excuse. And so with the parallels of it, I still try to think of myself because it's the disciplinary part of like myself when it comes to like me practicing and running and track is I just go in and do focus on myself first and foremost, tune out everybody else. Cause I mean, when it came to track, I didn't care who I was racing. It could be Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
We both at the starting line together. So like, if you're gonna have to win, you're gonna have to beat me, which he could, but at the same time, you never know. He can come up injured, whatever. At the same time, if he came up injured, I beat him.
You still gonna
But
take
for
that win.
acting, yeah, you're gonna take that win regardless. It's just the sport. And versus acting, when you go into that audition process, it is about you and what you bring to the character, regardless if you are more favor of what they're looking for, you still gotta have that same mentality. With luck, it does run your course. If you are a favor of whatever they're looking for, it does work out to your advantage versus in sports. Like the only advantage that you probably would have is if you're at home base and like you have a fan base with you to support you. But I pretty much would say it's just pretty much having that discipline and really focusing on yourself, checking all your boxes, making sure that like your lines, the character, and you go in confidently that you are who they want you to be.
Nice. Have you ever had an experience when you went into an audition and maybe because we watch movies, right? And they always have these like horror stories where people go on audition and the casting director and people sitting there, they're kind of cold, they're not giving you any emotions. Have you ever had any type of like experience where you're just like, this was very strange. I killed it, but this was a very kind of like this was a little awkward for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when we were like now, I will say that because of the pandemic, we're definitely remote, so you don't really get that interaction. Which, to be honest, the audition process for me, what you said, a lot of that is like the horror story for like a lot of actors, and they definitely it definitely can mess up their mental. And for me, that's the part where I told you that you just got to go in and be disciplined and just do whatever it is you need to do and just leave. But when I can tell you that I definitely had those situations where, I mean, sometimes the casting director is doing, especially when we were in person, they'll be doing a lot, or it will be just the assistant, and then the casting director is on the computer and trying to get the other clients or whatever, and they can definitely be very cold. And you know, it's that whole thing that I tell you that you just kind of got to tune that out, and it can definitely be hard, but you just got to go in and just, you know, be you and just walk out the room. And so um a lot of my friends, when they had those situations, it definitely like, it screws up their mind, because they're like, well, they were cold, they didn't even say hey or even look at me, they just told me to come into the room and just go. And yeah, like it can definitely, you know, kind of bruise your ego a little bit, because you kind of, you want to have that human interaction with people, and you want them to like know that you exist and know who you are. And like, you know, it definitely can, for some actors, shift their mind and not make them feel, you know, welcome, or like they're not supported, because you want the casting director to support you in any kind of way, whether you're good or bad. So yeah.
I think that goes right back to you know, your track and field training, right? Because the thing is,
Hmm.
your coach, if you mess up, you mess up, and your coach is going to just tell you to do better. They're not going to baby you. You know, you're in a sport where
Yeah.
it's so competitive, and it's not, and everything is on the line for the team. Like, you know, you're one part of a big machine. And so if you
Yeah.
mess up, you have to be able to get yourself up and say, well, I got another thing I'm
Hmm.
to run. You know, you don't have a time. I think that's the thing where with athletes, you guys don't have a time to actually get down on yourself. Later on you do, but when you're in this,
Oh yeah.
when you're there, you got to. But then also when you do away games, you know, then you have a whole group of people that are looking at you like, I hope you lose because I want them to win. You know what I mean? So it's like
Exactly.
you just that like track and field really has brought, I think the I can say is that discipline, but also that experience of knowing that Kelsey can only do Kelsey, because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, you know, there's people rooting for Kelsey, there's people showing tough love for Kelsey. Then you also have been, you're experiencing so many different personalities. So a cold disposition, you don't take personal, because you're just gonna say, hey, that's just a cold
Mhm.
coach. That's just how they, that's just how
Yeah.
that is.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So cool. I like that. I like that. So what's next for you now? You know, not projects wise, but you know, what's next for Kelsey as an entertainer? You know, do you want to evolve and like, you know, get into more films in the sense of maybe sci-fi, horror? Do you sing a little bit that we don't know about? Do you tap dance on Sundays?
I definitely don't sing. Dances is something I definitely used to do a lot when I was younger. But what's next for me is, I definitely want to do more films. I would love to do a sci-fi. I mean, if they are calling, I would love to do Dune. Hunger Games was something that I was like hoping that was going to be able to knock on my door, and still actually hoping for that. But yeah, no, I have a couple of things that are going to be lined up. I have another film that will be coming out, soon, called Devil's Row, with Tony Todd as well, because I work with Tony Todd with my latest film, Bitch Ass, and that should be coming out soon. And then top of the year, I will be making an appearance on Wu Tang as well. So definitely looking forward for that, and I hope you all tune into that one as well. That is an episode that you guys do not want to miss.
Nice. I love that. And before we go, because I like to always be respectful of everyone's time, what words of encouragement would you give to someone? Because you had to make a pivot. And a lot of times people it's hard for people to make pivots, you know, because they just are maybe battling the pivot,
Hmm.
they're battling what they're doing. They're thinking, I can't give up. It's too soon. I don't know, you know. So what is Kelsey's kind of go-to thing that he would tell anybody that was in his position again?
I would tell anybody, regardless of your circumstances, you only get one life, and whatever you want out of life, you have to go for it. Like, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. And you have to understand that, like, anything that is remotely, like, if you want to make more money, if you want $1 million, if you want to be an actor, if you want to move to another state, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be easy. Regardless of how much you prepare for it, it's just not going to be easy. And understand that, like, you have to make the sacrifices to do whatever it is that you want to do and stick with faith. That's like my biggest thing for me is I stuck with my faith. I've always had faith in God, and God has definitely never steered me wrong. Even when I was at my worst situations, I've always kept my faith, and he has definitely brought me out of whatever it is. And, and that's one thing I just say, stick with faith for sure.
Nice. I love that. Well, Kelsey, I appreciate this. I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself too.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.